needs that need to be met, and they build a solution because their view is the customer doesn't really know what they want. They just know they have an issue that they'd like to get fixed.
Think about the turn of the century, the last century, the 1800s. If you went to people, we had candles. Right? That illumination, household illumination came from candles. And if you ask people, you had an idea, let's say you want to design a better lighting system. What do you think they would have told you?
More candle.
What type,
Or longer
burning candle, or a candle with fragrance. A lot of times people don't know what they want, or they can't imagine a solution. So part of what we're doing as we're designing a solution is not just asking people what they want through a focus group. We might do that later on, but we're making a proposal of what could be. Think about the best products. It's not what we didn't ask people. Nobody came and asked, Apple or Android didn't come and say, hey, would you like a smartphone? They made a proposal and people bought it. Right? So the best designed products are, here's a proposal. We believe that if you have the iPad, lots of people will buy it. Right? Airbnb said, if we take professional photographs of homes and rooms, then you guys will rent them more easily. And people validated the proposal. And then when people validated the proposal, they made it easier for them to do it. They reduced the friction for people to buy their services. So a lot of design is, when you go and ask people, first of all, they're not going to tell you. Why are people not going to tell you what they want? Or is it?
They don't know what
they don't. One is that they don't know. And even if they did know, and you show them something that you're thinking about, what do you think they'll tell you? Not sure. Or actually, people are too kind. Right? So you go to your buddy, or who are you going to go to? You go to your buddy, and you show them this. We suffer from death by kindness. Like, we went out and showed our product to people, and it's like, oh yeah, great idea, man. You guys are awesome. Yeah. We think this will work. People are too kind. Would you agree with that? Mm-hmm. All right? So that's the problem with the focus group. First of all, you have a focus group. They're not getting, pardon?
Would you put the focus group at the back end after
You can do both. You can do both. It's not one or the other. The focus group has its place, but you could do at the end, possibly. But what I'm saying is, don't rely too much on focus groups. Great design is always the work of not just focus groups, but multiple sources of input. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's the story of the 3M sticky notes.
Yep. How did that happen? Accidental.
Well, it's not just the accidental. When they tried selling it, they described what they did, and no one wanted to buy it.
That's right.
And then what they ended up doing was they said, well, I already have a notebook, and I don't need this stuff. So they gave away the stickies for free because they wouldn't buy it. And then when they got it, they started using it, and then they reordered. Mm-hmm. So even when you tell them what their what the product
they're not able to conceptualize.
They're not able to conceptualize until they touch it.
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't you use Microsoft as an example of not having a focus group near the end? When they came out with Windows 8, they did not have a focus group. They decided they were going to build what they wanted without having to start with. People will want that stuff, but that was failure.
But remember, it's not, the problem with Microsoft is that, I don't want to beat up on any one company, but because there might be people from Microsoft here. So anytime you have a company that's too insular, that's not looking to the customer, that's not talking to the customer, that's not going out to and so a focus group is saying, let's bring our customers to us. The better way to do it is, we're going to talk about that, is in Lean Startup we say, get out of the building. Go talk to your customers. Go watch your customers. Why expect them to come in and sit in an artificial conference room and in a group and listen to them? Right? The best validation happens when you actually go out to your customers. Right? So that we think of a sort of a impromptu focus group, if you will. Right?
And I guess I'll look for that when it comes. The part I'm trying to understand is what is different in the execution.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I understand the experimentation, picking your MVPs, and through that process arriving at the
I'm going to show you a video shortly.
If I just may add, in a focus group for a car, you might have them in the room talking about it versus going to observe and watching, driving the car.
Yeah,
That's a very different.
I want to make sure we're not getting locked into a certain format for focus group, because it's more than sometimes talking to the individuals. I've been in observation scenarios. UAT is a form of a focus group in a lot of ways. Right?
Certainly. Yeah, all of those techniques apply. Let me show you a short video of what I'm talking about. Dima says she likes Nordstrom. Now you'll see why that is.
I'm J.B. Brown, the Nordstrom Innovation Lab Manager, and this is the lab. We work on 1-week experiments, somebody will have an idea and we'll find a way to figure out how to prove if the idea is going to work. And this week, the Innovation Lab is going to be building an iPad app with customer feedback as we go through the week. We wanted to work in the store to make sure that we were getting customer feedback as we worked, so that we were never working on anything that wasn't valued by the customer and only doing things that are delivering value. So we'll be building a feature and testing it until we get to the point where we have something that's good enough that we can just leave the iPad app behind and have this new thing that customers can use.
This is the world's first flash build. It's a flash mob where a software team shows up and builds an application in a surprise location. This is the Nordstrom Innovation Lab, and we're at the flagship store downtown Seattle. Right now the team is just setting up their equipment to get started. We're going to build an iPad app that helps customers pick the best pair of sunglasses for them. We really don't know what the features are yet. We're going to use customer feedback as we go along throughout the day and the rest of the week in order to build the best thing.
So the next thing we're going to do is a user story map. So we're going to sit here and together outline all the steps the customer would take, and actually even beforehand how they buy sunglasses, like what are the different things that they might do, and how that process might change if we have this application. And we'll actually dig into what we have to build in order to support that process.
So now that we've done a card mapping, we're going to do a paper prototype, and this is something that we commonly do in the Innovation Lab. It's a great way to show what we'd like to do in a rough prototype that we can easily throw out, change, alter, based on feedback from the customers. I'll continue building individual paper slides, and our user experience specialist at Mattel will bring the prototype to a customer and say, okay, I have this app, and this is a paper version. I'd like you to kind of use it like you would normally use an app, and you can press things, interact with them, and then she'll change out the pages based on how the customer uses it. So it's a similar experience to the iPad, only an analog version. So it's day 2, and we have our first working prototype of this app, and how it works is I take my first pair of sunglasses, put it on, the picture, all right, and then I want to compare it to this other pair I've got right here. Put these on, take another picture. I can just hold these up like this and see which one I like better.
While Tel and Kim have been talking to people and doing paper prototypes, we've been coding, building an iPad. We take a stab at something, we look at the paper prototypes that Kim put together. We might take one at a time. Usually we come to the board and we grab the most important feature and we start implementing it. The really cool thing with this flash build is that we have actual real customers. Just today we delivered 4 or 5 different separate features, and I deliver it, swap the iPad with Tel. She'd go and talk to a customer, and 10 minutes later I had feedback from real customers about this thing that I delivered, and it changed how we did the next thing.
And it's been really, really great watching day to day what they've been doing, the team, to get all the feedback from the salespeople, the feedback the salespeople have gathered from the customers. And it's a really interesting process to kind of come in. On Tuesday, we had no idea what this would look like. There was an idea that somebody had to say, people take a lot of pictures of themselves with the sunglasses. It'd be cool if we could show them side by side to help them make the process better. And that was the idea, that was it. They came in, they had nothing built, and they've been building this literally on the spot throughout each day. And by now, we actually have an app, a functioning app that they can go through. It's very intuitive to help look at themselves and make the sunglass selection process easier, which is pretty cool to watch.
So yesterday the sunglass buyer for Nordstrom came down to check out our progress, and she happened to put on polarized glasses and then held up the iPad in portrait view and was surprised that she couldn't see anything because it was black. And we figured out that polarization of the iPad running up and down and the polarization of the glasses running vertical cancel each other out. You don't see anything. But if you turn the iPad to landscape, you see perfectly fine because of the polarization of the 2 items lined up, and it's okay. So it was a pretty good find to be in the store, and she just happened to put on polarized glasses. And so today, first thing we're going to do is switch it to a landscape design and then lock in the aspect ratio of the iPad so customers and salespeople just naturally pick it up and use it in landscape and not try and go to portrait.
Okay, so I'm going to show you what we've been working on the last 5 days. We've added quite a few features over the week. You take a picture, multiple pictures of the customer, and then you can hold them up. You tap the first one, you can see it larger, and then tap the second, and do a side-by-side comparison of each glass next to each other. We also added a feature where you can rename the picture, because we heard from salespeople, if a customer's trying on quite a lot of glasses, it's helpful to be able to know what order they were taken in, and also rename if you want with the brand or some distinguishing feature of the glass. Another feature we added was the ability to zoom. You can zoom in and really get a good detailed look at the frames side by side. Also So you'll see one of the pictures larger if you want to just better view of one frame. You can flip the camera view as well. Face it forward so the salesperson can take a picture of it like this, or you can flip the camera. So take a picture yourself facing it forward. And then at the end of it all, we have a button called New Customer, which just erases all of the images and allows the salesperson to start with a new customer.
We're just trying to put the final touches on the app. Tel talked to a lot of users, and they said that when we went into the compare view, it was unclear where the pictures were coming from and which picture was which. So the animation here is trying to solve that problem, make it a little more clear what's going on. One of the challenges with software is when are you done, right? And I think the answer is really, it depends on how much time you have. At least the most important things got done. So this was time boxed to a week, and we did a week's worth of work, and it seems like what we have now is something that makes customers happy and addresses the main problems, and something that we can track, we have metrics on. So I think we're gonna call that a day.
The application has developed so far. Everything's finished, everything that we've asked for, and even the little roadblocks and glitches that we kind of stumbled across as we used the app during the week has been solved. I think that it's going to be really easy to be able to implement into our sale, and I think that we're going to find a lot of success with the application, whether it's via a selling tool for us or if it goes public into a downloadable format. Whatever happened, I think this was generally quite a success.
So nothing like seeing it in action. I think they demonstrated a lot of what we've been talking about. What do you think? You like it? You guys like the video? Yes, sir.
I thought it was incredible that they took it right to the customer, and they did it interactively, and did it, and then from a sales standpoint, what's amazing is you engage the customer and gave them the ability to make all the choices. So instead of
Right there.
typically a customer will go look at a few glasses and walk out because they want to maybe shop.
Yep.
They're so engaged that they have control over this buying process and comparison. I bet you that they can make the correlation that if they go through that tool, they sell more.
Yeah. In fact, what they probably were doing was they're signing up customers for their particular sunglasses right there. So and I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it's right there. It's a very quick, tight feedback loop. It's a very rapid development, cheap experimentation. You saw some of the initial things they did. What did they have? What did they have? Paper. Yeah. What do you think? And they said, hey, let's simulate. Press the button and it goes here. And that was feedback. So that's your focus group, right? So it's not a focus group where you ask people to come